Hi everyone, I am Whitroy. Welcome to this audiobook learning video.
Hi everyone, my name is John and I work alongside Whitroy as an electrical tutor.
In this video, we will introduce ASNZS 4836, which covers safe working on or near low voltage and extra low voltage electrical installations and equipment. Before we begin, I want to make something clear about this audiobook. This is not a word-for-word reading of ASNZS 4836-2023. The standard itself must always be read and followed exactly when you are doing electrical work or preparing for the EWRB exam. The official standard is the legal and technical reference. If there is any difference, missing detail, or possible mistake in this audiobook, you must follow the official document. What this audiobook does is take the key ideas from the standard and explain them in simple spoken language, the kind of language you can listen to while driving, working, or revising. It helps you understand what the clauses mean, why the rules exist, and how they apply in real electrical work. So please think of this audiobook as a learning companion, not a replacement for the actual standard. All right, let's get started.
Section 10, Supervision. Today we're moving into Section 10 of ASNZS 4836. This section is short, but it is very important. It explains that work on electrical equipment and electrical installations must be carried out by a competent person or supervised by a competent person. Electrical safety does not depend only on the person holding the tools. It also depends on the person responsible for making sure the work is planned, controlled, checked, documented, and completed safely. A supervisor is not just someone nearby. A supervisor must understand the work, the hazards, the competence of the worker, the condition of the equipment, and the safe work procedures that apply. If the work involves energized electrical equipment, the level of care must be even higher. The tools, test equipment, PPE, and work method must all be suitable for that task. PPE means personal protective equipment. Clause 10.1 General. Clause 10.1 gives the basic supervision requirement. Work related to electrical equipment and electrical installations must either be carried out by a competent person or supervised by a competent person. A competent person is someone who has the right knowledge and skill to perform the task correctly. That competence may come from training, qualifications, experience, or a combination of these. In practical terms, a person should not be left to do electrical work unless they understand the task, the hazards, the safe work method, and the limits of what they are allowed to do. If the person does not yet have enough competence to work independently, a competent person must provide suitable supervision. The level of supervision should match the risk. A simple, low-risk task may need less direct supervision. A higher-risk task, a new task, or work near energized parts may need much closer supervision. So, supervision must not be treated as just a signature or a formality. It is a safety control that helps make sure the work is done safely and correctly. Clause 10.2 Supervision of work. Clause 10.2 explains what the competent person providing supervision must make sure of. First, the work must be carried out by competent people. This means the supervisor must consider whether the worker has the right training, skill, knowledge, and experience for the work being done. A person may be competent for one task, but not competent for another. For example, someone may be able to install basic wiring safely, but may not yet be competent to fault find near exposed energized parts, work in a hazardous area, or carry out complex isolation on equipment with multiple sources of supply. The supervisor must also make sure that electrical installations and electrical equipment comply with ASNZS 3000 and are not dangerous. This means the supervisor needs to think about the safety of the actual installation or equipment, not only the person doing the work. If the installation is damaged, incomplete, incorrectly wired, poorly labelled, missing covers, missing earthing, or has exposed live parts, the risk must be controlled before work continues. Electrical incidents must be investigated and reported. An electrical incident should not be ignored because the injury was minor or because nobody was injured. Near misses also matter. If something went wrong, or nearly went wrong, it may show that the work method, supervision, equipment, isolation, testing, or communication was not good enough. Reporting and investigation help prevent the same type of incident from happening again. Maintenance systems for electrical installations and electrical equipment must also be managed. This means maintenance must not be random or forgotten. Electrical equipment may become unsafe over time because of damage, wear, moisture, heat, vibration, corrosion, loose connections, poor repairs, or unsuitable use. A proper maintenance system helps keep the installation and equipment safe throughout their working life. The supervisor must also make sure that documentation for electrical work is recorded and provided where required. This may include inspection records, test results, risk assessments, permits, maintenance records, incident reports, isolation records, or other workplace documents. Good documentation matters because it shows what was done, what was tested, what was found, and what information needs to be passed on to others. The relevant authority may also have additional supervision requirements. In New Zealand, workplace rules, legal requirements, site procedures, employer procedures, and regulatory requirements may all affect how supervision must be carried out. So the supervisor must not only know the technical work, they must also understand the supervision requirements that apply to that workplace and that job. Clause 10.3. Supervision of equipment. Clause 10.3 focuses on work carried out on energized electrical equipment. Energized work has greater risk because live parts may be present while the work is being done. There may be risk of electric shock, electrocution, arc flash, arc blast, burns, unexpected operation, or damage to equipment. Where installation work is carried out on energized electrical equipment, the competent person providing supervision must make sure the work is carried out by a competent person. The worker must be competent for energized work, not just competent for general electrical work. The person must understand the hazards, the test procedure, the isolation limits, the safe approach, the possible fault energy, and the correct use of tools and test equipment. The worker must also have tools, testing equipment, and PPE that are suitable for the work. This is very important. A worker should not carry out energized work using ordinary tools where insulated tools are needed. They should not use damaged test leads, cracked meters, incorrect probes, unsuitable gloves, or PPE that is not suitable for the risk. The tools, test equipment, and PPE must also be properly tested and maintained in good working order. A tool or item of PPE may look acceptable, but it may not be safe if it is damaged, expired, contaminated, poorly stored, or not tested as required. Before energized work proceeds, the supervisor must have confidence that the safety equipment is suitable and in serviceable condition. The work must also be carried out according to a Safe Work Methods Statement, or SWMS, prepared for the work. An SWMS is a written safe work plan that sets out the work activity, the hazards, and the control measures. For energised work, the SWMS helps make the work method clear before the task starts. It helps confirm who is doing the work, what hazards are present, what controls are being used, what tools and PPE are required, whether a safety observer is needed, and what must happen if conditions change. A supervisor must make sure the work follows the SWMS, not just that the document exists. If the actual work changes, or if new hazards are found, the work should stop and the method should be reviewed. In practical terms, supervision of energised equipment means checking the person, the equipment, and the procedure together. The worker must be competent. The tools and test equipment must be suitable. The PPE must be correct and in good condition. The SWMS must match the actual work, and the work must be controlled from start to finish. That brings us to the end of Section 10 of ASNZS 4836. This section reminds us that supervision is a real safety responsibility. Electrical work must be carried out by competent people or supervised by competent people. A supervisor must make sure the workers are competent, the installation and equipment are safe, incidents are reported and investigated, maintenance systems are managed, and documentation is recorded and provided where required. For energised work, the supervisor must also make sure the worker is competent, the tools and test equipment are suitable, the PPE is correct and maintained, and the work follows the SWMS. Supervision helps prevent unsafe work, poor decisions, missing controls, and dangerous assumptions. When supervision is done properly, it protects the worker, the workplace, and everyone who may be affected by the electrical work.